Title: Asterisk, you believed Earth was weak. That was the last mistake you ever made. Asterisk, 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 part 1. A distance. Between stars, asterisk. Asterisk Lena sat by her bedroom window, her fingers gently tracing the edge of a worn photograph. In it, she and Jax stood beneath a sea. Wide oak tree, arms around each other, laughing. It was taken this summer before he moved, before his parents got the research job on Mars Colony 1, before the long silence began. That was 2 years ago. Now Earth felt smaller, quieter, like a room with all the lights turned off. She looked up at the night sky. Mars was just a red dot among the stars. So close, and yet so far. Jax used to say they'd always be close. No matter where they were. Distance is just space, he'd told her once, grinning. But thoughts? Feelings? Those travel faster than light. Back then, Lena believed him. Now, she wasn't so sure. Messages had started strong daily updates about the red deserts, the low-gravity sports league, the weird taste of recycled water. But over time, they grew shorter, then rarer, then stopped altogether. Lena didn't blame him. Life on Mars was busy. New friends, new routines, new world dot, but for her, everything stayed the same. School, home, the same streets, the same tree where they'd taken that photo. Only now, it stood empty dot. She typed a message 100 times. Asterisk, hey, how are you? Too simple. I miss you. Too heavy. Asterisk, do you ever think about Earth? Too sad. In the end, she sent nothing. One evening, during a school project on planetary colonies, Lena learned something surprising. Mars didn't have oceans, no rain, no wind that carried sound for miles, no forests, no seasons that changed the color of the leaves. Everything there was controlled: air, light, temperature. Life was safe, but quiet dot, and then it hit her. Jax wasn't just living on another planet. He was living in silence. She remembered how he used to love thunderstorms, the way the sky lit up, the smell of wet grass, the sound of rain on rooftops. On Mars, there was none of that. Just artificial. Lights and filtered air dot. Maybe he wasn't ignoring her. Maybe he was just lonely. Maybe he missed Earth more than he let on. That night, Lena had an idea. She went to her old storage box and pulled out a small, round device, a sound recorder she'd used for a science project. She walked outside just after sunset. The air was cool. Crickets chirped. A dog barked in the distance. The wind rustled through the trees. She pressed record dot. She captured it all. The rustle of leaves dot, the distant laughter of kids playing, the hum of a bicycle passing by, the soft hoot of an owl in the woods dot, rain beginning to fall gentle at first, then steady dot. She recorded for 20 minutes. Then she added her voice at the end. Hey Jax, it's been a while. I don't know if you'll get this, but I wanted to send you a piece of home. This is what Earth sounds like tonight. I'm sitting under the oak tree. It's raining. Smells like soil and grass. I saved your favorite swing for you. It's still here. I miss you. But I hope you know, you're still part of this. You're still part of Earth. She uploaded the audio file to the interplanetary mail system and sent it to Jax's public colony address. No pressure. No demand for a reply. Just a gift. A heartbeat from home. Weeks passed. Lena didn't check her inbox every day. She tried not to hope too hard. But one morning, her device chimed a priority message from Mars dot. Her heart jumped dot. She opened it dot. It was a video dot. Jax appeared on screen. He looked older, tired. But when he smiled, it was the same smile she remembered. Lena, he said softly, I got your message. I played it every night for a week. He paused, looking down. I didn't realize how much I missed this place. How much I missed you. Life here, it's amazing, yeah. We walk on red soil. We see 2 moons. But it's so quiet, so still. I thought I'd get used to it. But sometimes I feel like I'm floating, not just in low gravity, but in my head. Like I'm disconnected. He looked up, straight into the camera. Your recording, it brought me back. I cried, okay? I won't lie. Hearing the rain, the crickets, your voice. It was like someone turned the lights back on. Then he grinned. Turns out, Earth isn't just a planet. It's a feeling. He told her about his plans, how he was applying to join a new Earth-Mars cultural exchange program. They're looking for people who can help colonists stay connected to home. I want to be one of them. And maybe I'll come back. For a visit. Just to see the tree. Just to sit on that swing. Lena watched the video 3 times, and she smiled. A month later, a small package arrived from Mars. Inside was a smooth red stone, polished and warm to the touch. Attached was a note, asterisk from the surface of Mars. It's not much. But I carried it in my pocket every day, thinking of Earth. Now it's yours. Thank you for reminding me where I come from. We're not so far apart after all. Asterisk Lena placed the stone on her windowsill, where the morning sun could touch it. Every night she looked up at Mars in the sky, a bright red star, and she whispered, I'm still here. Because Earth was more than oceans and trees and storms. Earth was connection. Earth was memory. Earth was asterisk love that didn't break. Even across space. Asterisk. And anyone who thought Earth was weak. Anyone who believed its people couldn't reach. Across the stars with nothing but kindness and hope. Title. Asterisk, you believed. Earth was weak. That was the last mistake you ever made. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Part 2. The signal across the silence. Asterisk, asterisk, winter came to Lena's town, wrapping the streets in soft gray mist and frost-covered trees. Snow fell quietly one night, turning the world into a blanket of white. The oak tree in the park stood still, its branches dusted with snow, the swing hanging motionless. But inside Lena's room, something warm was growing hope, since Jocks had sent the red stone and his message. Lena hadn't stopped smiling. Not really. She kept the stone in her pocket now, like he once did with a piece of Earth. Every time she touched it, she remembered, we're still connected, but still Mars was far. Messages took days. Video calls were rare only when both schedules matched and the signal was strong. Lena didn't want to push. She didn't want to be the one always reaching. She wanted balance. A real friendship again, not just memories. And gifts. Then one evening, the news came. A solar storm was building between Earth and Mars. Strong electromagnetic waves. For the next 2 weeks, all civilian communication would be cut off. No messages, no calls, no signals. Lena stared at her screen, heart sinking. 2 weeks of silence. She thought of Jocks, alone on the red planet, maybe waiting for her words, maybe. Needing to hear Earth's voice again, only to find nothing but static. She couldn't accept the thought there had to be something she could do. She remembered what her science teacher once said, sound can't travel in space, but vibrations can, and so can light. An idea sparked. She ran to her school's science lab after class the next day. With permission, she borrowed a small laser transmitter kit one used for basic light signal experiments. It wasn't powerful, but it could send pulses of light across long distances. With some help from her tech-savvy friend Mira, she upgraded it using an old satellite dish and a solar battery pack. What are we even trying to do? Mira asked, adjusting the wiring. Send a message, Lena said. Not through the network. Through space. With light, Myra blinked. You mean, like Morse code to Mars? Lena nodded. Not for them to see, but for them to know someone's trying? Mira grinned. Only you would try to blink a message to another planet. They worked for 3 days, testing frequencies, syncing the laser to a simple audio file. Lena recorded just 10 seconds of Earth sounds. Rain, wind, a child laughing, and her voice saying, "I'm here." Then, every night at 8:07 p.m. Jox's favorite time, when Earth and Mars aligned closest in their orbits, Lena aimed the laser toward the red dot in the sky and sent the signal, asterisk, beep, 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 asterisk. The rhythm of her message pulsed into the dark. She didn't know if it would work. She didn't know if anyone would detect it, but she did it anyway. On Mars, Jock sat in his small living pod, staring at a blank screen. The storm had cut off all messages. Again, he missed Earth more than ever. Missed the smell of bread from the bakery near Lena's house. Missed the way the sky turned orange at sunset. He was about to turn off the lights when an alert popped up. Unusual. Light pattern detected from Earth. Frequency, low power laser. Origin, Northern Hemisphere. Pattern repeats every 24 hours. Curious, Jox pulled up the data. The pulses were simple, but clear. He played the audio file they'd recovered from the signal, and then he heard it. Rain, wind, laughter, and her voice. Here. His breath caught. Someone on Earth was trying to reach him, not through satellites, not through networks, but with light, with sound, with heart. He looked out the dome window at the night sky. Earth was just a bright blue star. But in that moment, it felt close. He turned to his console and began typing. Not a formal message, not for the system. He uploaded the sound file to the colony's public loop and wrote one sentence. This was sent from Earth, not with warships, not with force, but with a homemade laser and a voice that refused to stay silent. This is why we should never underestimate that little blue world. The next day, others in the colony started listening. Scientists, engineers, even the colony director. One by one, they began recording their own sounds, music, stories, even the sound of someone humming a lullaby from home and beaming them back toward Earth using weak signal bursts during a storm's gaps. It wasn't much, but it was something. Back on Earth, Lena didn't know any of this. She kept sending her signal every night. Then, one morning, Mira burst into her classroom, eyes wide. "Lena, look." Title: Asterisk, you believed Earth was weak. That was the last mistake you ever made. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Part 3. The language only hearts know. Asterisk, asterisk. Spring returned to Lena's town. The oak tree in the park stretched its branches toward the sky, new leaves shimmering in the sunlight. The swing creaked gently in the breeze, as if waiting. And Lena waited too, not with sadness this time, but with quiet excitement. Jox was coming home, not for good, not yet, but for 3 weeks. As part of the Earth-Mars cultural exchange, he would visit schools, share life on Mars, and most importantly reconnect with the world he once called home. Lena checked the calendar every morning. 10 days, then 5, then 1. But as the days passed, a new feeling crept in: fear. What if things were different? What if Jox had changed too much? What if she had? What if they met and stood there, smiling awkwardly, not knowing what to say? What if the bond they rebuilt through laser signals and voice messages couldn't survive in person? She didn't want to lose him again, so she did what she always did when she didn't know how to speak. She created. She went to the library and gathered old photos, drawings, notes they'd passed in class, and recordings of their favorite songs. She added the sound of rain, the laser message, the redstone, and even a small bag of soil from under the oak tree. Then she built something, A time capsule, not to bury, to share. She filled a clear, airtight case with layers of earth each. One a memory, a dried flower from the park, handwritten letter from Myra, a tiny speaker that played 10 seconds of children laughing, piece of blue chalk the kind they used to draw planets on the sidewalk, and a note from Lena. Asterisk, this is Earth. This is us. This is what I kept for you. Asterisk, she didn't know if it was enough. But it was honest. The day arrived. Lena stood at the spaceport gate, heart pounding. The shuttle from Mars touched down in a soft cloud of mist. Passengers stepped out, scientists, engineers, diplomats. And then there he was. JAX. Taller, paler from low sunlight. But his eyes, warm, familiar, full of light, found hers instantly. They didn't run. They didn't shout. They just walked toward each other, slowly, like two pieces of a puzzle finally coming together. When they met, Jock smiled. You're taller. Lena laughed, tears in her eyes. You're real. They hugged long, tight, like they were making up for 2 years of silence. Later, at the park, they sat under the oak tree. The swing swayed beside them. Birds sang. A breeze carried the smell of fresh grass. Lena handed him the time capsule, opened it slowly, touching each item like it was sacred. He held the blue chalk. We drew Mars like a red monster back then. Lena grinned. And Earth was a superhero. Jocks played the audio clip. When he heard the ring, his breath caught. I forgot how much I missed this sound. They talked for hours about Mars, about school, about the people they'd met, the things they'd lost, the things they'd found. They didn't try to rush. They didn't try to fill every silence. They just were, and that was enough. A few days later, Jax visited Lena's school. Students crowded around, eager to hear about life on Mars. He showed videos of red deserts, floating rocks in low gravity, and the small greenhouse where colonists grew earth plants. Then a little boy raised his hand. Do you miss Earth? Jacques didn't answer right away. He looked at Lena, who sat in the back, quietly smiling. Yes, he said. Every day. Not because Mars isn't amazing. It is. But Earth. Earth has something no planet can copy. What? The boy asked. People who care enough to reach across space with a homemade laser and a voice recording. The class fell silent. Jax continued. Where I come from, we measure strength by weapons, by speed, by how fast we can build. But Earth measures strength by connection, by love that doesn't give up. That's not weak. That's the most powerful force in the universe. Lena looked down, her cheeks warm. She hadn't done anything special. Just sent a sound. Just kept hoping. But it mattered. One evening, as the sun painted the sky in gold and pink, Lena and Jax walked to the hill where they used to watch storms. I have something for you, Jax said. He handed her a small glass orb. Inside, a tiny patch of red soil. Mars soil sat beneath a single green sprout. It's a plant, he said. From a seed we brought from Earth. We grew it in the colony. Everyone said it wouldn't survive. But it did. Lena stared at it. You brought a piece of Mars. To Earth? Jax nodded. Balance. You sent me Earth. Now I send you Mars. Not as a colony, not as a distant world, but as a friend. Lena held the orb gently. It's alive. Because someone cared, Jax said softly. Just like us. They sat there, side by side, watching the stars appear. Mars shone in the sky, bright, red, familiar. And Earth hummed beneath them, alive, warm, full of quiet strength. When Jax left, it hurt, but not like before. This time, Lena didn't cry at the window. She stood at the spaceport, waving, holding the glass orb close, because she knew now distance wasn't the end dot. It was just space dot and love. Love was stronger. Dot it traveled through silence. Dot it spoke in sounds and light. Dot it grew in soil for mother. Worlds dot it connected hearts across stars. Dot Earth didn't roar. Dot it didn't conquer. Dot it didn't need to dot. It simply endured. It simply cared. It simply never gave up. And anyone who thought that was weak title. Asterisk, you believed Earth was weak. That was the last mistake you ever made. Asterisk, 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 Part 4. The song that crossed stars. Asterisk, asterisk. The days after Jocks left felt softer than before, like the ache of missing someone had changed shape. It wasn't sharp anymore. It wasn't heavy with silence. It was warm, like holding a cup of tea on a cool morning, bittersweet, but full of memory. Lina still looked at Mars in the night sky. But now, she didn't just see distance. She saw connection. She kept the glass orb with the tiny green plant on her windowsill. Every morning, she placed it in the sunlight and whispered, "Good morning, Mars." It had become a small ritual, a quiet promise that she still cared. At school, things were different too. Teachers asked her to speak about her messages to Jocks. Students listened, wide-eyed, as she told them about the laser, the sound recordings, the time capsule. One day, Mira came running to her with a tablet. "Lina, look." On the screen was a live feed from Mars Colony 1. A small event was happening in the Central Dome. A taste of Earth night. Colonists had gathered to eat food grown from Earth seeds, listen to Earth music, and share stories. And there, standing at a small stage, was Jocks. He held up a familiar object, the blue chalk. "I want to show you something," he said, smiling at the crowd. "This is from my home, not just my planet, my friend's planet." He turned to the wall and began to draw. Not words, not equations, a song. Using symbols and lines, he mapped out the rhythm and melody of a simple tune, something Lina had once hummed under the oak tree. He called it Asterisk, the swing song. Then he played the recording Lina had sent, the one with rain, laughter, and her voice saying, "Asterisk, I'm here." The colonists listened in silence. Then, one by one, they began to sing, Asterisk, not in perfect harmony, not in English, but in their own voices, in their own accents. They repeated the melody. A woman from the engineering team added a soft drum beat. On a metal panel, a child played the notes on a handheld synth. Someone recorded it. And within hours, the file was uploaded, sent back to Earth through the open communication channels. Lina listened to it that night, tears in her eyes. They weren't just hearing her message. They were answering it. They were making Earth's song part of their world. But then, something unexpected happened. A message arrived not from Jocks, but from a young girl on Mars, named Nara, age 11. She had been at the event. Her video was shaky, filmed in a small living pod. Behind her, a tiny patch of grass grew in a plastic tray. She held a piece of paper covered in hand-drawn notes. "Hi, Lina," she said shyly. "I heard your song. I liked it. It made me think of my grandma's garden on Earth. I don't remember it, but Mom shows me pictures. I miss it, even though I've never been." She paused. "I wrote a song, too. It's about the red sky and the quiet, but it ends with light because that's what Earth gives us. Can you listen? And maybe, if you like it, play it on Earth." Lina played the song. It was simple, gentle, full of longing and hope. She knew she had to share it. She asked her music teacher for help. Together, they arranged Nara's song for a school choir. Myra recorded a soft beat. A student played the flute. Lina added nature sounds, birds, wind, the creak of the swing. They called it Asterisk, light from Mars. Asterisk, they performed it at the spring concert. Parents wiped their eyes. Kids stood a little taller. And when it ended, the applause lasted a long, Time. Lena uploaded the video to the interplanetary network with a message. Asterisk. This is for Nara, and for everyone who misses a place they've never seen. Earth hears you. Asterisk. Weeks passed. Then, another message came. Not just from Nara, from a school on Mars, from a community garden on Europa, from a research station near Saturn. They had all seen the video, and now they were sending their songs. A boy on Titan sang about cold skies and distant suns. A woman on a mining station hummed a lullaby. Her grandmother taught her originally from Kenya. A robot technician on Phobos played a tune on a repurposed radio wire. They weren't grand. They weren't perfect, but they were real. And Lena realized something. Earth wasn't just sending comfort, it was inspiring it. No fleets, no weapons, no demands. Just a girl who sent a sound. And the world asterisk, the whole human family across the stars asterisk, began to sing back. One night, Lena stood under the stars with Mara and a small group of friends. They brought instruments, guitars, a violin, hand drums. Title: Asterisk. You believed Earth was weak. That was the last mistake you ever made. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Part 5. The letter the stars carried. Asterisk, asterisk. Summer came slowly to Lena's town, painting the days in golden light and long shadows. The oak tree was full and green now, its leaves whispering in the wind. The swing creaked under the weight of children's laughter. Life moved forward, but Lena felt a quiet ache again. Jocks hadn't sent a message in over a month. Not a call, not a note, not even a short audio clip. She told herself not to worry. Life on Mars was busy. The colony had faced a minor dust storm. Communications had been delayed. She knew all the reasons, but still, silence hurt. She missed his voice, missed the way he laughed at her jokes, missed how he always said, asterisk, Earth sounds so alive. Asterisk. She wanted to reach out. But what if he didn't reply? What if he was moving on, building a new life so far away that Earth was just a memory? One evening, she sat under the tree, the glass orb with the Mars plant beside her. She watched the red dot in the sky and whispered, "Are you still there?" No answer came. And for the first time in a long while, hope felt fragile. The next day at school, her teacher handed back a writing assignment. "Beautiful work, Lena," she said softly. Lena looked down. The essay was about connection, about how people stay close, even when they're far. She had written about the laser messages, the songs, the time capsule. But at the end, she had added something new. Asterisk. Maybe love isn't about how often you talk. Maybe it's about never stopping believing the other person is listening, even when they don't answer. Asterisk. She hadn't realized how much that line came from her own heart. That night, she sat at her desk and opened a blank page. Not a text, not a voice message. A letter, handwritten, on thick, cream-colored paper. The kind her grandmother used to write with a real pen. She wrote for hours. She told Jocks about the summer, about how the park smelled like cut grass and blooming flowers, about how Myra had started a music club where kids wrote songs for people on other planets, about how the little plant in the orb had grown 2 new leaves. She told him about the silence and how hard it was not to doubt. "But I'm still here," she wrote, "and I still believe in us. Not because we talk every day, but because we chose to stay connected when it would have been easier to let go. That's what Earth does. That's what we do." She ended with asterisk. If you're reading this, know that I haven't given up, and I hope you haven't either. Asterisk. She didn't send it digitally. Instead, she folded it carefully, placed it in a sealed envelope, and wrote one line on the front, asterisk for Jocks. To be delivered by light, by sound, by heart, wherever you are. Asterisk. Then she did something unexpected. She took it to the university's deep space radio lab, an old facility that once sent messages to early space probes. She asked if they could beam it out, not as data, but as a slow, repeating audio signal, like the old days of radio waves drifting through space. The scientist in charge, Dr. Alara, read the letter. She smiled. "We can do better than that," she said. "We'll send it on the Earth Song frequency, the one that carries all the music you and the others shared. Jocks will recognize it." And so, on a clear night, they aimed the dish toward Mars. Not a laser, not a file, a voice, a recording of Lena reading her letter, set to the soft melody of the swing song in the background. It wasn't fast. It wouldn't arrive instantly. It would drift through space like a message in a bottle on a cosmic sea. But it would travel. And that was enough. Weeks passed. Lena didn't check the stars every night. She didn't wait by her device. She focused on school, on music, on helping younger kids write their own letters to distant family. She was learning something important. Hope wasn't just waiting. It was acting, even when you couldn't see the result. Then, one quiet morning, Myra burst into her house, breathless. "Lena, turn on the public broadcast." Lena grabbed her tablet. The screen showed a live feed from Mars Colony 1.JA. X stood in the central dome. Behind him, a crowd had gathered. On a large screen, the words of her letter scrolled, slowly translated, shared, honored. Jocks held up the envelope, her real envelope, printed from the signal and made tangible by the colony's 3D printer. "I got it," he said, his voice thick. "It took time. The signal was weak, but they caught it. They heard it." He looked into the camera. "This letter, it wasn't just for me. It was played in every pod, in the greenhouse, in the school. People listened. People cried. Because it wasn't just about missing someone. It was about not giving up on them." He paused. "We've been so focused on surviving on Mars, on building, on adapting, that we forgot to feel. Lena reminded us that home isn't just a place. It's a person. It's a voice in the dark saying, 'I'm still here.'" Then he smiled. "So I wrote one back." A moment later, Lena's device pinged. Not a call, not a file, a letter. She opened it with trembling hands. Jocks had written about the long silence, how the dust storm had damaged part of the comms array, and how he'd been helping repair it for weeks. How during the quiet, he'd missed Earth more than ever. How he'd listened to her old rain recording every night. "I was afraid," he wrote. Asterisk, "afraid that if I didn't write, you'd think I'd forgotten. But the truth is, I was just trying to be strong. I didn't realize that strength isn't in silence. It's in saying, 'I miss you. I need you. I'm still here too.'" He ended with, "You taught me that Earth doesn't fight with weapons. It fights with love. And love always finds a way." Asterisk, that evening, Lena stood under the oak tree again. She read the letter one more time. Then she placed both letters, one from Earth, one from Mars, inside the time capsule, beside the blue chalk and the redstone. She didn't bury it. She left it open, because some stories weren't meant to end. They were meant to continue, across distance, across silence, across stars. And as the first stars appeared in the sky, Mars glowing steady and red, Lena whispered, "I hear you." And somewhere, on a red world beneath a pink sky, Jocks looked up, touched the letter in his hand, and smiled. Because love didn't need to be loud, that it didn't need to be fast, that it just needed to be true. And truth? Truth traveled farther than any ship. It carried on light, on sound, on paper and voice and heart. It carried on the quiet courage of a girl who believed that even in silence, someone was listening. And anyone who thought that kind of strength wasn't power title. Asterisk, you believed Earth was weak. That was the last mistake you ever made. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Part 6. The Bridge. Made of moments asterisk asterisk autumn painted Lena's town in warm shades of orange and gold. The oak tree shed its leaves slowly, like memories falling one by one to the ground. The swing still moved in the breeze, though less often now. Life had changed quietly, gently, but it had not stopped. Jocks was still on Mars, but he was no longer far away in the way he once was. They didn't talk every day. Sometimes a week passed without a message, but it didn't hurt like before. Their connection had grown deeper than frequency or timing. It lived in the small things, the shared songs, the letters, the plant in the glass orb that now had tiny white flowers blooming from it. Still, Lena felt a quiet pull in her chest. Not sadness, not fear. A longing, not just for Jocks, but for something more. She wanted others to feel what she had felt. The power of not giving up. So she started. Something. With help from Mira and her music teacher, she launched the Earth Echo Project. A simple idea. Anyone who missed someone far away on another continent, on a space colony, on a research station beyond the moon, could send a message. Not a text. Not a quick voice note. A real message. A drawing. A poem. A song. A recording of rain, or laughter, or a favorite street sound. And once a month, Lena and her team would gather them all, turn them into a single audio-visual broadcast, and send them into space on the old Earth song frequency, the same one that carried her letter. The first collection had 50 messages. The second had 200. By the third, schools on Mars, Luna, and even a mining station near Jupiter began sending their messages back. Earth wasn't just speaking. It was listening. One evening, Lena sat in the school's small studio, editing a new message. It was from a boy named Tarek, whose sister lived on Luna Base. He had recorded the sound of wind chimes from their old home and played a short tune on a toy piano. As she worked, Mira walked in, holding her tablet. "Lena, you need to see this." She opened a live feed from Mars Colony 1. It was Jocks. He stood in front of a new building, low, round, with a glass roof. A sign above the door read, "Earth Echo Garden." "This," Jocks said, smiling, "is the first cultural garden on Mars built not for science, but for asterisk heart." Asterisk, behind him, colonists walked among small plots of earth plants, daisies, lavender, even patches of soft green grass. But the most special part was the center, a quiet circle with speakers buried in the ground. "This is where we play the Earth Echo broadcasts," Jocks said. "Every Sunday night, we sit, we listen, we remember who we are." Then he stepped aside, and from the speakers, a voice played. Asterisk. "Hi, Mom. I made cookies today, just like yours. I wish you could taste them." Asterisk asterisk. "Dad, I saw a rainbow today. It looked just like the one over our house." Asterisk asterisk. "To anyone out there who misses home, this song is for you." Asterisk, and then Lena's voice. She froze. It was a recording she had made months ago, during a storm. The sound of rain on leaves, thunder. In the distance, and her soft laugh as she said, "Asterisk, this is what Earth sounds like when it's alive." Asterisk, tears filled her eyes. She hadn't known it would be used like this, but she should have guessed. Because Earth's strength had never been in keeping things for itself.